Hey everyone, welcome to ENH iSecure blog. I'm Prince. I'm here to tell you about SailPoint new feature, LaunchPad and Launchers. But before we dive into the LaunchPad and Launchers directly, we have to understand some basic foundation for Launchers, which is workflows and forms. So one by one, we will discuss all of them. So first, we will start from the workflows, where we will get to know how to create the workflows, what are the different steps we have to create the workflows. Then we will jump for the forms, where we will get to know about the section and the fields of the forms, and also we will understand what forms can do for us. At last, we will talk about the launchpad and launchers, and also we will get to know how we can create our own launchpad and launchers inside the SailPoint. So see you in the next slide. To understand the complete terminology of a SailPoint, let's take one real-time analogy here. Think about how our scientists launch their rockets in this space. Same kind of terminology SailPoint uses for their launchers and launchpads. So if I talk about the workflow, think here, a workflow is the mission plan for the rockets, which includes all the steps and procedures the rocket must follow to complete its mission. So these procedures could be deploying satellites or conducting an experiments. The same way, if I talk about the SailPoint perspective, a workflow in a SailPoint is a series of automated steps that are executed when launcher is triggered. It defines the process that needs to be followed to complete a task. Forms. Forms are like the checklist and data entry sheets that mission control team uses to ensure everything is in order before and during the launch. In the same way, from the SailPoint perspective, forms in a SailPoint are used to collect and input necessary information at a various stages of the workflows. It ensures that all required data is gathered and proceed accordingly. So Launchpad. So definitely, as we know that mission control team needs one Launchpad. So Launchpad is nothing but is a platform from where rockets are prepared and launched. So in the same way, in SailPoint, the Launchpad is the interface from where users can see and integrate various tasks. It's a starting point for any interactive processes. At last, we have a launcher. So launcher is like the rocket itself. It's the vehicle that carries the payload from the launchpad to the space. In the SailPoint perspective, a launcher is a tool that integrates an interactive processes. So it triggers a specific workflow when a user selects it from the launchpad. Let's understand what workflow is. Workflow is simply a set of steps or tasks that are followed to complete a process. It means it helps to automate tasks like creating user accounts, approving access requests, or sending notifications. And everything we can achieve smoothly and efficiently without much manual effort using workflows. If we talk about the steps in workflow, so there are three types of steps we have: triggers, actions, and operations. So one by one, we will thoroughly understand and discuss each and every step. Triggers. Trigger is the first step inside the workflow, and trigger determines when the workflow runs and provide the initial input that is going to be used by the rest of the steps. So trigger act as a starting point for the workflows, and it automatically launches a sequence of tasks that is defined inside the workflow. So whenever the specified event occurs, triggers will start automating the task. Actions. So actions are the specific tasks that the system performs based on the workflow's logic. So each action receives input from the data flow and it executes a particular function. such as approving an access request, sending an email, etc. So we can achieve multiple functions using the actions. Operations. So operations are the decision making steps, and it helps to direct the flow of data and make decisions of the workflow. So don't worry if you feel it's not intuitive for you. I will demonstrate you each and every step once I will start creating the demo video. So in that video you will get to know each and every step whatever we have discussed till now. So after knowing about the workflow and all its steps, definitely one question can arrive in our mind. Why do we need workflow? And how it really helps us in real-time scenario. Let's take one simple example to understand the workflow better. Think about Sam. Sam, an employee at a company XYZ. So typically, Sam works from office, and however, due to some severe flooding near his home, he is unable to commute. As a crucial member of an ongoing project, Sam needs to work from home, which requires VPN access. He has requested the VPN access through the SailPoint Request Center. But unfortunately, the designated approver is on leave for the next 2 days. So to tackle this kind of scenario, we need to create a workflow, and we can give a workflow name by saying emergency access grantor. And any responsible person or authorized person can launch this workflow by using the launcher. So once the workflow will be launched, it will automatically provision the VPN access to Sam. Along with, it will also notify Sam, his manager, and the entitlement owner about this provision access. Forms. So forms are used to gather specific data from the users, which can be used in a various processes like access request, approvals, and identity updates. If we talk about the structure of the forms, then forms are made up of section and fields. So section in a form is like a folder. It helps in organizing different fields by grouping related questions together. Whereas fields are the individual data collection points. So it is an input place where users is going to provide their information. So as you can see from this slide, we have different fields that we can use for the multiple case scenario, and we can use them to get different kinds of input from the users. Launchers. So launchers are the tools that allows user to manually start specific tasks or workflows. So they are essential shortcuts to the integrate predefined processes. Whereas if I talk about LaunchPad, so LaunchPad is the interface where users can see and access all the launchers assigned to them. So it acts as a central hub for initiating the task. Now let's talk about the creation flow for our launcher. So for that I have created 8 steps. One by one we are going to understand it thoroughly so that we can create launcher inside the SailPoint. So in the first step we are going to create one form by using the form feature from the SailPoint. This form will help us to take input from the user. In second step we will create one workflow by using the interactive trigger. In the third step, we will attach our created form with our workflow so that the data that has been entered by the user, it can be used inside the workflow. In the first 4 steps, if everything goes well, we will test our workflow. In 5th step, we will create a new launcher and will attach our created workflow with this launcher. In 6th step, once the launcher will be created, it will create one entitlement for us that should be associated with the user who is going to use the LaunchPad. So we have to delegate the interactive entitlement to the user, And once it will be happened, the user can directly go to the launchpad option inside the SailPoint and easily he can launch the launcher. I hope this presentation has given you a clear picture how launchpad and launchers work inside the SailPoint. In the next video, we will see by creating the workflow directly inside the SailPoint IdentityNow, and also will launch by using the launchers and see the backend process, like how our launcher is working behind the scene. So please stay tuned with the next video, and please do subscribe, like and share this video. Thank you.